Recently, Gregor and I took part in the online community challenge to paint up a Kill Team Intercessor Squad. I painted up a squad of Ultramarines for that challenge. If you would like to see the video, check out the link right here. Some members of the community asked me how I achieved the marble effect on the bases, so here's a quick tutorial to show you how I did just that. We used an airbrush in this tutorial, but the good news is you don't need an airbrush to make this effect work. A can of black and white spray paint will do the job just as well. With that said, let's start the tutorial. So, we're going to start off by applying a nice and opaque black prime onto our base here. I'm using Vallejo Black Surface Primer through my airbrush, but an acrylic black primer such as Chaos Black from Citadel will do. Next up, I'm going to use some Somber Grey from Vallejo's Game Air range to help break up the black areas to provide some more interesting colour variations to the final look. If you don't have an airbrush, I recommend using Thunderhawk Blue from Citadel and an old brush to stipple on the paint in patches to provide some variety without completely covering all of the black prime. I'm carefully applying our blue-grey colour here, just to break up the black, in this instance going for one larger grey area, but with plenty of black remaining on the base. The smooth transition that the airbrush provides here is not needed for the final effect. Now for the magic. Some tutorials use a stretched out wet wipe for this stage, but we found it much easier to use a tumble dryer sheet that has been through a load of laundry as it already has the pattern we need. We simply wrap it around the base like this and spray white paint over the top. The tumble dryer sheet will preserve some of the colour underneath and give us the effect we're looking for. A white spray can works just as well here, but regardless of what you're using, don't apply the paint too thickly as we don't want it to pool. Carefully remove the dryer sheet, leave the paint to dry, and you'll end up with something that looks like this. It's not looking too bad at this stage, but we still need to do a bit more to make it look like marble. So we're going to paint on a couple of coats of gloss varnish such as Ard Coat from Citadel, but any gloss varnish you already use will work. Some people recommend just a single thin coat of gloss varnish, but personally we found that not to work here, so I'm applying 2 coats straight from the pot, waiting for them to dry each time. I'm making sure to apply the varnish just to the flat areas, avoiding the broken areas on the base as broken marble tends to have a powdery look in real life. After 2 coats of varnish, we've built up a nice shine which you could leave here. However, for our purposes, we're going to go a step further to apply some weathering. For this step, we're going to use some heavily diluted Mournfang Brown for dirt. We want the consistency to be somewhere in between a paint and a wash. We don't want it translucent, but we want it to paint easily into the recessed areas of the base. I'm using a brush to carefully paint the Mournfang Brown into the crevices between the bricks and any other areas where dirt would build up. I'm also painting some brown for the areas of soil revealed by the broken away marble. With this step complete, we can see the Mournfang Brown really helps bring out the detail and makes the base look more realistic. The matte of the brown helps complement the glossy areas of the marble, and we can see the subtle areas of black and grey adding to the effect. Now we're going to pick out the sculpted pattern down the side of the base using a strong gold colour. In this case, I'm going to be using Retributor Armour from Citadel. I'm very carefully picking out the detail using the side of the brush so we don't accidentally paint inside the recesses. With that done, we're almost finished. Now I'm going to use Vallejo Model Colour Black to paint the rim of the base as it gives a very smooth matte finish. And there it is, the finished base ready for use. It really is as simple as that. The techniques we use don't take a lot of skill, and it doesn't take much time to get the desired look. And that's the end of the tutorial. The bases I use for my Ultramarines and in this video are from the Haven 121 set from Dragonforge Design. This isn't a sponsored video, but we've been very impressed by this small company and wanted to give the creator a shout out. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and hit subscribe if you want to see more. If you enjoy what we do here and want to support us further, Join us on Patreon, where you'll gain access to a range of perks and benefits, including exclusive access to more tutorial videos on how we paint up our different kill teams. We'll see you all in the next video.